Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. I tell you, I believe that anymore. Nothing's impossible. When you believe nothing's impossible, guess what? Right. I just want to say this because I don't know if I've ever told him, and most of you don't know this, but Mr. John read that poem, and he could, I don't think he really realizes, but he sent a book over here one time to Kristen, and I don't really know if he realized how big that was or not, but he sent a book called Destined to Reign over here to her, and then they passed it on to us, and it revolutionized my life. And I don't mean to give too much praise to that book, but that book allowed the Bible to change my life. It opened my eyes to the Bible, and it did something to me. And so I just want to, you know what, this wouldn't be here without that one act of what he did. So I just honor him. Thank you. Well, if you ain't read it, get it yesterday. Destined to Reign. It's what set me free from religion. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And so, man, I'm glad I got what I got now. Man, I'm telling you, I was amongst religion, and I went 3 times a week, and I did all that I could do, and it wore me out. I honestly tried my best. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be what God wanted me to be, but I had to come to the honest realization that I ain't able. You ain't either. And so the whole point of Jesus is He come and set us free from religion. Religion was the only way that that man had a chance to get to God. Religion was man's efforts to try to reach God. That was our only shot. And guess what? We couldn't do it. And He knew He couldn't do it, so He sent Jesus and set us free from that system and said, that's not the way, I'm the way. The only way. I've made a way that you, apart from that system and religion and all that, to get to me. Man, I'm telling you, that's good. And when I found out really what I call realizing what grace really is, the grace revelation, or what the difference in that new covenant and the old covenant. I'm telling you, if I could tell anybody, we go to these places, we go anywhere, if I could tell them one thing, I would say for religious people and church people and any other people, that the main thing, most people in our country area right here believe in this Bible. We do. Most of us do. Whether you even go to church or not, or whether regardless, most everybody pretty much believes the Bible, believes in the Bible. But when you come into the realization of what the cross did, and who Jesus is, and that we've been born into a new deal with God, and it's not the old deal with God. When you get that separated, and you start living in the grace of God, and the realization of you've been born now, you're born again, now you're sons and daughters of God. Jesus Himself said, you're no longer servants, you're sons. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference if you show up in town, you working for somebody, and if you show up and he's your daddy. Amen. You got a little more. And so that's the difference. And so the reason we're in the shape we're in, or we have been in the shape we're in, is because the churches have had a servant mindset. And we're always talking about, be obedient to all, you got to be a servant and serve God. And, who can do that? You're going right back into your own strength again. You're going right back into your own flesh again. You're going right back into being religious again. And so when I found out I'm a son of God, and when I found out that Daddy bought this whole big ranch for the sons to run, I no longer serving the man that owned the ranch. My daddy owns the ranch. And so now I walk around on the ranch a little different than I did when I was just a hired hand. I'm not a hired hand. My daddy owns this.
Come on.
That puts a little, I got a little bit, hey. Now I serve more. They'll say, oh, now you can't preach that grace like you preach that. Oh, them religious people, they get nervous and they get mad and they got mad at Jesus and they got mad at Paul. That's all right. I'm telling you, this grace message, you can trust him. You can trust him. Fear will try to keep you from trusting him. You can trust him. This grace message will revolutionize your life. It will change your position. And you'll look up one day and you're doing more than serving God. You become a son of God and you go around enforcing his will in this place. And that's what I come to tell you tonight. You're an enforcer. You're an enforcer. What Jesus did on the cross needs to be enforced. Because the truth is, we have an enemy. I know I believe in spending most of my time in discovering who Jesus is and what he has and all that, and that's good. I'm not backing off of that. It's good. Because you hear me say almost every week, I'll say it again, grace and peace is multiplied to us through knowledge of him. And so the more knowledge we get of him, grace is multiplied. Grace cannot be earned. Grace cannot be deserved. It can't. You just can't earn it. And then if you earn it or if you deserve it, it's no longer grace. And so how it gets multiplied is through knowledge. That means the more you know about him, the more grace is multiplied. So if I tell you something tonight that you didn't know about him before, guess what? Automatically, grace is multiplied in your life. Amen. I'm all for that. But part of that knowledge is knowing that we do have an enemy. And he's a rotten, lying, no good scoundrel. And I'm telling you, the more power I find out I got, the more I learn about him, the more I hate him. Amen. And I'm telling you, if you're going to stand up and be sons of God, you're going to start getting results, and you're going to start being an enforcer. I'm telling you, because you can't just get out of the boat until you just can't not get out of the boat. If you get out of the boat being religious, you'll sink. But if you get out of the boat because you're so fed up with the boat and you just can't you can't not get out of the boat, that's when. This says that we have an enemy. And he comes to steal and to kill and to destroy. And don't you think for 1 minute he won't do it. And he's been doing it. But I'm telling you what. Something's going on and something's happening. I'm telling you, the Father is tired of seeing his church limping around like a bunch of sissies, not standing up and finding out what they really got and who they really are and how much power they really have. You see, that enemy, he's no good, and he don't play by the rules. And so the truth is, at the cross, he was defeated. He was stripped. All his authority is gone now. But he don't play by the rules, and so he just keeps on keeping on. He just keeps on keeping on. He keeps on robbing, he keeps on stealing, he keeps on destroying. He just keeps on because he don't play by the rules. But God plays by the rules. And God says, I whooped him at the cross. But now it's up to my sons to be the enforcers. Just in case you brought a Bible, I want you to open your Bible and read something with me. That way you just put your hands in it and read something, then I'm going to go. I'm telling you, if you ever need a pickup, if you ever need a little oomph, you read Romans 8. I'm telling you to put wind in your sails. I'm just going to give you one. I'm just going to give you one verse of it, because this is talking about you and me. Romans 8:37. This is just part of it. I want you to read it. I want you to mark in your Bible. You get to feeling down or beat up, you read it. I'm telling you, read Romans 8. It's strong. It's good. Romans 8:37 says, but in all these things, he's talking about all the things that can come against us. Stress, and attacks, and all this. He says, but in all these things, we overwhelmingly conquer through him who loved us. No matter what's coming against us, no matter what's happening in our life, no matter what kind of chaos we're in, we are overwhelmingly conquered through him who loved us. sorry if it offends you, but I'm believing God for victory. I don't think we're supposed to lose. I know we've been brought up in religion, we've heard religion, and we've said, all along, we've said, well, you know, this is just part of getting old, or this just, some things happen. Well, yeah, maybe for the world. Did the cross make a difference? Yes. Hey, we're no longer of the world. We got Jesus. Amen. And He's undefeated. Amen. And this says that He loves us. And if we got, it says down there later on, He's up there right now interceding for us. Right. We've got Jesus, we've got the blood of Jesus, we've got God the Father, and they love us bigger than we can even fathom, but we are not taking advantage of what they have supplied for us. Because we're sitting around begging God to do something, and the truth is, God's already done His part. He's waiting on the sons of God to open His Bible and find out who they are and what they got, start enforcing what He's done. Amen. Because He plays by the rules. He plays by the rules. Way back in Genesis, He said this. He created man. He built all this creation for man. He built this earth. See, God's in heaven. And He built this earth, a natural place. He built it and put man here. And He said, all right, boys, I've added on. I built the ranch here, and you boys going to run it. He said, let them have dominion. He said, made man in my image, made my likeness, let them have dominion. And He blessed them. He said, let them have dominion. Who's them? Yep. He didn't say, let us have dominion. That means He gave it to us. He said, Luke 10:19, behold, I've given you power. I've given you authority over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Now, does it say that or not? Do we believe the Bible or not? And so what has happened is we've sat around religious, and we've sat around sucking our thumbs, saying kumbaya, crying and waiting on heaven, when that's what the devil wants us to do. Because as long as we don't find out that we're the one wearing the badge, he just keeps on raging on. He keeps on robbing. He keeps on stealing. He keeps on killing. We keep on going to the doctor. We keep on wasting all our money on pills. We keep on this. When God has made a way for us to be overcomers. Conquerors. So you tell me, should there be a difference? If we've experienced the cross, if we've experienced the cleansing power of the blood of the Lamb, that we're now justified. Justified? If you've been born again, you know you're justified? Yes. My favorite definition, justified, never sinned. See, that's why the grace revelation is so big in this, because if you're going to go out there and try to enforce, and you're going to try to go out there and do spiritual warfare and battle this rotten enemy that's raging on, and you don't have the grace revelation, guess what? You think you're going on your own performance, and you think, well, I've got to make sure my life's right, and I've got to make sure this. Guess what? You're whooped already. But when you know you got what you got, not because of your performance, not because you're so high and mighty, not because you reached some level, but because He thought enough of you, He gave it to you. He put His robe on you. And when you walk out of there now, you've got the King's robe on. When you walk into Walmart, you've got the King's robe on. When you walk into the hospital, you've got the King's robe on. You've got the ring on. Remember the story of the prodigal son? Here he come back. He just come out of the hog waller. Still had slop on him. Still had mud on him. Still had manure on him. Still had stench on him. Broke. Wasted. Defeated. Shamed. Guilty. The father runs to him. He doesn't hose him down, wash him off. Right in the midst of all his mess, puts his robe on him. Puts a ring on his finger. That means I'm giving you the authority that you're my son. He put shoes on his feet. You know what that means? The servants didn't wear shoes. The sons wore shoes. Say, I'm a son. You girls can say it too. Say, I'm a son. It's not about gender. It's about position. He said, let them have dominion. He So God says, I play by the rules. Even though the enemy don't play by the rules, I play by the rules. If that devil's going to be whooped and it's going to be enforced what I've done already, it's going to have to come through me. You got the power. But we're going to have to get fed up. I remember Nubbin asked me one time, because I'm telling you, our faith's getting high. We're seeing the sick healed. We're seeing all kinds of stuff. We're seeing people healed. We're seeing big miracles. We're seeing some stuff now. I mean, he's growing our faith. It's because we stripped religion off of Jesus. And I'm telling you, Jesus without religion works every time. And so we're seeing some stuff. And Nubbin said, how's that happening in your life? He said, I want that. I want to be bold like that. I want to be able to spit in the devil's eye and him know I've been there. All that. He said, how do you get to that point? I said, you gotta get fed up. You gotta get fed up enough to fight. You gotta get fed up to know what's yours. And I'm tired of somebody stealing from me, and I'm getting what's mine. I'm telling you, it's time. That's why I love Cowboy Church, because we just think we're tough anyway. And I'm telling you what God wants to do in these days. You're going to have a little bit of sand in your gut and a little bit of grit in your eye, and you're going to say, enough's enough. I'm tired of him robbing and stealing from me. I'm going to get my stuff back. I'm a son of God that's been given everything that I need. I've got the name. I've got the spirit. I've got the authority. I've got the power. Now what's holding us back? I'm telling you, I'm going to get mine. And you can call me crazy, you can call me a dreamer, you can call me whatever you want. Don't wake me. I'm going. Anybody else want to go? Every time Jesus was tempted of the enemy, every time the enemy came around, here's what Jesus did. It is written. It is written. It is written. And he whooped that rascal with this right here. It is written. And when the sons of God know who they are, you see, I'm going to keep on telling you this until you see these Bible stories in here. Jesus, he goes around healing the sick, and the disciples are following him, and the religious folks are there. And so really I see like four groups right there. There's Jesus, there's disciples, there's the sick, and there's the religious folk. When we read those stories, where do we put ourselves in those stories? Where do we relate to? Some of us read them stories and say we relate to the sick. Well, we're the sick. We need healing or something. Some of us say, well, now we're in church. We're disciples. Maybe we're the disciples. We're following him around trying to learn and all that. We used to be the Pharisees. We ain't Pharisees no more. If you still got a little Pharisee in you, you're kind of a little nervous right now. I'm going to keep on telling you this until the one that you identify within them stories is Jesus. Amen. We are not the sick. We are not the Pharisees. In a way, we're kind of the disciples, but that's not who we're relating to, because they weren't even born again. They weren't filled with the Spirit of God like we are. The one that we relate to in these stories is Jesus. I'm going to keep on telling you this until when you read these Bible stories, you see yourself as Jesus. You're not the sick one walking up lame and crippled and lepers and all that. You're going to start reading these stories, and when Jesus walks up, you're going to see yourself walking up. Because the same thing he had, you have. The same, he said it himself. The things that I do, you'll do. Hey, John said it, 1 John. As Jesus is right now, so are you. Uh-oh. It is written. It is written. As he is, so are you. That's present tense right now. I'm going to keep on telling you this. I'm going to keep on preaching grace. I'm going to keep on preaching faith. I'm going to keep on preaching power. I'm going to keep on preaching the will of God. I'm going to keep on preaching the sons of God until you figure out we are as he is. Amen. Because here's the truth. This is what's written. This is what's written. Jesus walked around and did all that he did. He walked in power. He lived in power. He whooped the devil everywhere he went. That's what I want. Here's how he did it. He saw himself as a righteous son of God. No sin consciousness. No sin consciousness. Sin consciousness pollutes your spirit and weakens you and keeps you in the flesh. Am I saying your performance is perfect? Am I saying that you never sin again? No. I'm not saying that. That's the flesh. I'm not even talking about the flesh. Paul said walk in the Spirit, not the flesh. In the Spirit, you're sinless. When you keep your eyes on that, you keep living in that, you quit listening to the devil tap you on the shoulder and tell you you're no good. Oh, look at you, you messed it up again. I ain't listening to him no more. We're going. Is there any sons in here? Say I'm a son. I'm a son. Hey, here's what I want you to do. Here, you start thinking about this. It is written. There's power in what you say. I tell these guys all the time, I don't get tired of hearing them songs. They don't just sing any old song. Oh, don't pass me by. No, we ain't singing that mess. Keep on singing. You sing with them. When they sing them songs, greatly blessed, highly favored. Hey, don't get tired of singing that. You know why? Because there's a bunch of sons of God that are putting it into the air, and they're saying, when you declare, there's power in it. You're saying, you're singing. The devil starts shaking. I'm telling you, when you start saying, hey, I'm highly favored. I'm greatly blessed. I'm made perfect. I'm a son of God. There's power in you saying that. Yeah. Jesus said, whoever says to the mountain, be removed, cast into the sea, it will have to obey him. That's what it is written. He didn't say, oh, whoever begs God the most. Oh, here, I'll stump you one right quick. This is the last thing I'm going to give you. Jesus never prayed for the sick. Uh-oh. He never begged God to do anything. He knew who he was, and he knew what he had, and he knew how to use it, and he enforced it. I'm going to tell you something. We're going to start getting results because there's people rising up in here that ain't afraid to do business with the devil. He's a lying, rotten scoundrel, and when he finds out that we know who we are, he's got to move. See, we've spent all our time trying to beg God to move when God's already moved. God don't need to move. It's the devil that needs to move. And there's some sons that are rising up that ain't afraid to tell him to get his stuff and get gone. Huh? Everybody say get.
Get.